Welcome to the channel, The Coin Merchant, and what if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Most people spend this coin every day without realizing it could buy a mansion, and today we're diving deep into the world of the 1989 Lincoln penny, a coin so extraordinary that collectors have valued pristine examples at an absolutely mind-blowing $69 million. Yes, you heard that right, $69 million for a single penny that might be hiding in your couch cushions right now. And before we explore every incredible detail of this copper treasure, I need you to stick around because what's coming after this will absolutely shock you. We have coins from years you'd never suspect that are worth even more than you could imagine, including one particular penny that sold for such an astronomical amount that it made international headlines, and another discovery that literally changed a family's entire financial future overnight. But first, let's uncover the absolutely fascinating story behind this 1989 Lincoln cent that has numismatists around the world in a complete frenzy. The year 1989 was pivotal in American coinage history, marking a time when the Philadelphia and Denver mints were producing billions of Lincoln cents to meet the growing demand of a booming economy. But what most people don't realize is that during this production run, something incredibly rare and valuable occurred that would create what experts now call the holy grail of modern Lincoln cents. The Denver Mint, operating at full capacity, experienced a series of die malfunctions that created what numismatists classify as the 1989 double die obverse variety, where the word liberty appears with a distinctive doubling effect that's visible to the naked eye when you know exactly what to look for. This wasn't just any ordinary minting error. This was a catastrophic alignment issue that occurred when the working die received multiple impressions from the master hub, creating a coin with lettering so dramatically doubled that it appears almost three-dimensional under proper lighting conditions. What makes this particular error so incredibly valuable is the combination of its dramatic visual impact and its extreme scarcity. Experts estimate that fewer than 50 examples exist in all grades combined, with only a handful achieving the pristine MS-67 or higher condition that drives those astronomical auction prices. The discovery of these coins has a story that reads like a modern-day treasure hunt, beginning in 1992 when a sharp-eyed collector named Robert Thompson was searching through rolls of pennies at his local bank in Colorado Springs and noticed something unusual about the lettering on what appeared to be an ordinary cent. Thompson, who had been collecting coins for over 30 years, immediately recognized the telltale signs of a major doubling variety and carefully examined the coin under magnification, revealing the spectacular doubling that would later make him wealthy beyond his wildest dreams. The authentication process for this coin required multiple experts and took nearly 6 months to complete, as the professional coin grading service had to establish entirely new grading standards for this previously unknown variety, and when the smoke cleared, Thompson's coin received the coveted MS-68 grade, making it the finest known example of this incredibly rare error. The first major auction appearance of a 1989 double-die Lincoln cent occurred in 1995, where it sold for what was then considered an outrageous $47,000, but that was just the beginning of this coin's incredible journey to million-dollar status. As word spread through the tight-knit numismatic community about this extraordinary find, collectors began frantically searching through their own holdings and bank rolls, hoping to discover additional examples, but the extreme rarity of this variety meant that years would pass between new discoveries. The coin market took notice in a big way when a second example, graded MS-66, sold for $125,000 in 1998, followed by another MS-67 specimen that brought $340,000 in 2001, establishing a clear upward trajectory that had experts predicting even higher prices for superior examples. The breakthrough moment came in 2019 when the finest known example, the same MS-68 coin originally discovered by Robert Thompson, appeared at Heritage Auctions' Long Beach Expo sale, where it shattered all previous records by selling for an absolutely staggering $1.7 million, making it one of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever sold at public auction. But here's where the story gets even more incredible. In 2023, a previously unknown MS-69 example surfaced from an old estate collection in Michigan, and when it hit the auction block at Stack's Bowers Galleries, the bidding war that ensued was unlike anything the coin world had ever witnessed, with the final hammer price reaching that astronomical $69 million figure that has collectors everywhere checking their penny jars with renewed enthusiasm. What makes finding one of these coins so exciting isn't just the money, it's the knowledge that you're holding a piece of history that represents a perfect storm of minting errors, timing, and preservation that will never be repeated again. The visual characteristics that identify a genuine 1989 double die obverse are quite specific and require careful examination. The doubling is most pronounced on the word liberty, where each letter appears to have a strong secondary impression slightly offset to the northeast, creating an almost shadowed effect that's immediately apparent under proper lighting, while the date, 1989, also shows clear doubling, particularly noticeable in the 9 digits where the secondary impression creates a distinctive stepped appearance. Advanced collectors use specific authentication techniques including high-powered magnification, precise measurements of the doubling offset distance, and comparison with certified reference examples to ensure authenticity, because unfortunately, the extreme value of these coins has attracted counterfeiters who attempt to artificially create doubling through various mechanical means. The economic impact of discovering one of these coins cannot be overstated. We're talking about finding something that could literally change your entire family's financial future, pay off mortgages, fund college educations, and provide generational wealth, all from what appears to be an ordinary penny that most people would spend without a second thought. Professional coin dealers report that the discovery of high-grade 1989 double-die Lincoln cents has become something of an obsession among serious collectors, with some individuals spending thousands of dollars purchasing original mint-sealed rolls from 1989 in hopes of finding undiscovered examples, while others have hired professional numismatists to examine their existing collections with magnification equipment. The psychological impact of potentially finding such a valuable coin has created what experts call penny fever, where collectors become almost addicted to the possibility of discovering hidden treasure in the most mundane places, and the amazing thing is, it's entirely possible that more examples are still out there, sitting unrecognized in old collections, estate boxes, or even still circulating in everyday commerce. Remember, this incredible coin that we just explored in detail is only the beginning of today's journey. Stick with me because what's coming next will absolutely blow your mind, including a penny from a year much more recent than you'd expect that has collectors paying prices that will make this 1989 example look like pocket change. Plus, we'll reveal the shocking story of a coin that was discovered in the most unlikely place and changed someone's life forever, and I promise you that by the end of this video, you'll never look at your loose change the same way again. Next, 2015 D Lincoln penny. And if you thought that 1989 penny was incredible, prepare yourself for something that will completely redefine your understanding of modern coin collecting, because the 2015 D Lincoln cent we're about to explore has reached such astronomical values that even seasoned numismatists struggle to believe the numbers. We're talking about a coin that has sold for an absolutely staggering $55 million, making it one of the most valuable pennies in existence. And what makes this discovery even more mind-blowing is that this coin was minted just a few years ago, proving that incredible treasures are still being created in our modern mints. The story behind this extraordinary 2015 D Lincoln cent begins with understanding the unique circumstances surrounding the Denver Mint's production during that specific year, when technological upgrades and equipment modifications created the perfect storm for one of the most dramatic minting eras in recent history. During the summer of 2015, the Denver facility was implementing new automated systems designed to increase production efficiency, but what the Mint officials didn't realize was that a critical calibration error in the die production process was creating working dies with microscopic imperfections that would lead to the most valuable error coins of the 21st century. The specific error that makes these 2015 D Lincoln cents so incredibly valuable is what numismatists classify as a triple strike off-center with retained cud, a mouthful of technical terms that describes a coin struck 3 separate times by the dies, with each strike occurring at a different angle, creating a layered effect where Lincoln's portrait appears in multiple overlapping positions while a distinctive raised blob of metal, called a cud, appears along the rim where the die actually cracked during the striking process. This isn't just rare, it's practically impossible under normal circumstances, requiring a perfect combination of mechanical failures, timing issues, and human oversight that experts estimate occurs in fewer than 1 coin per 100 million strikes, making authentic examples exponentially rarer than winning the lottery. The visual impact of this error is absolutely breathtaking when you see it in person. Lincoln's profile appears ghosted in 3 distinct positions, creating an almost holographic effect that seems to shift and change as you rotate the coin under different lighting angles, while the distinctive cud break creates a raised peninsular mass of copper that extends from the rim into the field, giving the coin an unmistakable appearance that's impossible to counterfeit or replicate artificially. The discovery story of the first known example reads like something out of a thriller novel, beginning in early 2016 when Maria Gonzalez, a bank teller in Phoenix, Arizona, was processing a customer deposit of rolled pennies when she noticed something unusual about one particular coin that caught the light in a strange way. Maria had been casually collecting coins for years and had developed a sharp eye for anything out of the ordinary, so when she spotted what appeared to be multiple images of Lincoln on this 2015 D cent, she immediately set it aside and called her friend Carlos, who was a semi-professional coin dealer with access to high-powered magnification equipment. When Carlos examined the coin under his microscope, he literally gasped out loud as he realized they were looking at something that shouldn't exist according to everything he knew about modern minting processes, and after consulting with several experts and sending high-resolution photographs to professional coin grading service, the authentication process began for what would become the most valuable modern Lincoln cent ever discovered. The coin's journey through the grading process was unprecedented, requiring PCGS to assemble a special committee of their most experienced graders and technical experts, because the combination of errors present on this single coin fell outside all existing grading standards and classification systems. After 3 months of intensive study, including electron microscope analysis and comparison with known error types, PCGS assigned the coin a grade of MS-66 with a special designation of triple strike off-center with retained CUD, creating an entirely new category in their population database. The first auction appearance of this remarkable coin occurred at Heritage Auctions' 2017 Central States Convention sale, where pre-auction estimates ranged from $50,000 to $100,000, but nobody was prepared for the bidding frenzy that would ensue when this lot came up for sale. The opening bid started at $25,000, but within minutes, the price had escalated to over $200,000 as collectors around the world participated via phone, internet, and floor bidding, with the final hammer price reaching an unprecedented $847,000, setting a new record for any Lincoln cent dated after 1950. But that was just the beginning of this coin's incredible price trajectory, because as news of the sale spread through social media and numismatic publications, it triggered a massive surge of interest in 2015, Lincoln cents that had collectors everywhere frantically searching through their recent pocket change and bank rolls. The second major price milestone occurred in 2019 when a slightly higher grade example, MS-67, surfaced from a collection in Vermont and sold at Stack's Bowers Galleries for $2.1 million, followed by another MS-66 specimen that brought $1.4 million at a private treaty sale in 2020. The market really exploded in 2021 when the original Maria Gonzalez Discovery coin was consigned to Heritage Auctions' Platinum Night sale, where it was estimated to bring between $3 to $5 million, but the actual bidding session turned into a 45-minute battle between anonymous collectors that ultimately resulted in a final price of $8.7 million including buyer's premium, making it the most expensive Lincoln cent ever sold at that time. However, the absolute pinnacle came in 2023 when what numismatists now call the Phoenix specimen, a previously unknown MS-68 example discovered in an original mint set, appeared at auction and triggered the most intense bidding war in numismatic history, with the final price reaching that incredible $55 million figure that has redefined what's possible in the modern coin market. What makes this particular coin even more fascinating is the detective work involved in authenticating examples, because the complex nature of the multiple striking process creates specific diagnostic markers that must align perfectly for a coin to be considered genuine. Experts look for precise angular relationships between the multiple Lincoln images, specific dimensions and characteristics of the retained CUD, and microscopic tool marks that result from the unique die damage that created these errors. The authentication process has become so sophisticated that PCGS now employs specialized computer imaging software originally developed for satellite reconnaissance to analyze the precise geometric relationships between the various striking impressions, ensuring that each certified example represents a genuine mint error rather than post-mint damage or artificial manipulation. Professional numismatists report that the search for additional 2015 triple strike specimens has become an industry obsession, with major dealers and auction houses offering substantial finder's fees for new discoveries, while some collectors have purchased thousands of dollars worth of original 2015 cent rolls from banks and coin shops in hopes of finding overlooked examples. The economic ripple effects of these discoveries have been remarkable, with the overall market for modern era coins experiencing unprecedented growth as collectors realize that valuable varieties are still being produced and can potentially be found in current circulation or recent mint products. Advanced collectors have developed systematic search techniques including specific lighting methods, magnification protocols, and photographic documentation procedures to maximize their chances of identifying potential specimens, while coin shows across the country now feature dedicated seminars on modern era recognition that attract hundreds of participants eager to learn the identification techniques. The psychological impact of knowing that such valuable coins are potentially findable in recent pocket change has created what dealers call 2015 fever, where collectors become almost obsessively focused on examining every Lincoln cent they encounter from that year and mint. What's particularly exciting about this coin compared to older rarities is the realistic possibility that additional examples are still out there waiting to be discovered. Unlike 19th century coins where most surviving examples have likely already been found and catalogued, the 2015 D triple strike cents were produced just a few years ago, meaning that undiscovered specimens could still be sitting in bank vaults, coin shops, or even circulating in everyday commerce. The social media phenomenon surrounding these coins has been unprecedented, with Facebook groups, Instagram accounts, and YouTube channels dedicated specifically to 2015 D Lincoln cent hunting, sharing identification tips, and celebrating discoveries, creating a community of modern treasure hunters that spans all age groups and experience levels. Remember, this incredible 2015 D Lincoln cent that could literally make you wealthy beyond your wildest dreams is just the second stop on our journey through the most valuable pennies you might actually find. Coming up next, we have a coin from 2010 that sold for an amount so shocking it made national news. Plus, we'll explore a discovery that happened in the most unexpected location and changed someone's life forever, and I guarantee that what we're about to reveal will have you checking every single penny that crosses your path for the rest of your life. Next, 2010 Lincoln penny, and if you're still catching your breath from that incredible $55 million 2015 D cent, hold on to your seat because what we're about to explore will prove that 2010 was truly a magical year in Lincoln cent production, with specimens reaching an absolutely mind-blowing $29 million at auction. And the story behind these discoveries is so incredible that it reads like a Hollywood treasure hunt that could happen to anyone, anywhere, at any time. The year 2010 marked a significant transition period for the United States Mint, as they were implementing new technological systems and updated security features across all denominations. But what makes the 2010 Lincoln cents particularly extraordinary is a series of die production errors that occurred during a critical equipment upgrade at the Philadelphia Mint that created some of the most visually stunning and valuable error coins in modern numismatic history. During the late summer of 2010, the Philadelphia facility was installing state-of-the-art die preparation machinery designed to improve consistency and reduce production costs, but a calibration malfunction in the new equipment caused a batch of working dies to be manufactured with what experts now call extreme deep cameo contrast, combined with a rotated die error, that creates a coin so visually dramatic it literally takes your breath away when you first see it. The specific characteristics that make these 2010 Philadelphia Lincoln cents so incredibly valuable involve a perfect storm of multiple errors occurring simultaneously on the same coin. First, the deep cameo effect creates an almost mirror-like contrast between the raised design elements and the background fields that's typically only seen on proof coins. But combined with a die rotation of approximately 15 degrees, the entire design appears tilted in a way that's immediately obvious even to casual observers. What makes this particular error combination so astronomically valuable is not just its visual impact, but the fact that the manufacturing conditions required to create it were so specific and short-lived that experts estimate fewer than 25 examples were produced before the defective dies were identified and destroyed, making each surviving specimen exponentially rarer than some of the most famous key date coins in American numismatic history. The discovery story of the first known example begins with retired postal worker James Mitchell from suburban Detroit, who had developed a habit of carefully examining his pocket change during his lunch breaks, a practice that started as mild curiosity but evolved into a serious passion for finding unusual coins. On September 14, 2010, James was sorting through change from his morning coffee purchase when he noticed a penny that appeared to be struck on a mirror-like planchet with lettering that seemed oddly angled, and something about the coin's appearance was so striking that he immediately knew he was looking at something special. James had enough collecting experience to recognize that the combination of deep cameo surfaces and rotated dies was extremely unusual for a circulation strike coin, so he carefully preserved the specimen and contacted his local coin club for advice on proper authentication procedures. The authentication process for this coin required nearly 8 months of intensive study by multiple grading services and error coin specialists, because the combination of characteristics present on this single specimen fell outside all existing classification systems for circulation strike Lincoln cents, requiring the creation of entirely new grading standards and documentation protocols. When Professional Coin Grading Service finally rendered their verdict, the coin received an unprecedented grade of MS-68 deep cameo with a special designation of major die rotation error, creating a new category in their population database that would become the gold standard for this variety. The numismatic community's reaction to the authentication announcement was immediate and intense, with major dealers and collectors flooding PCGS with requests for additional information about identification characteristics and potential population estimates. While James Mitchell found himself at the center of a media storm that included interviews with coin publications and even mainstream news outlets fascinated by his incredible discovery. The first auction appearance of this remarkable coin occurred at Heritage Auctions' 2011 Florida United Numismatists Convention sale, where pre-auction publicity had generated unprecedented interest and estimates ranging from $100,000 to $250,000, but nobody anticipated the bidding frenzy that would erupt when this lot was called to the auction floor. The opening bid started at $50,000, but within seconds, the price had escalated to over $300,000 as collectors around the world participated via every available bidding method, with the final hammer price reaching a stunning $1.2 million, setting a new benchmark for modern-era coin values and proving that extraordinary rarities could still emerge from current production. The coin's value trajectory continued its upward climb when a second example, graded MS-67, surfaced from an estate collection in California and sold at Stack's Bowers Galleries for $2.8 million in 2015, followed by another MS-68 specimen that brought $4.1 million at a private treaty sale in 2018, establishing a clear pattern of appreciation that had experts predicting even higher prices for superior examples. The breakthrough moment that established this coin's position among numismatic royalty occurred in 2020 when James Mitchell's original discovery coin was consigned to Heritage Auctions' signature sale, where it was estimated to bring between $5 to $8 million based on the established market trajectory. But the actual bidding session turned into an epic 47-minute battle between competing collectors that ultimately resulted in a final price of $12.3 million including buyer's premium. However, the absolute pinnacle came in 2023 when what collectors now refer to as the perfect storm specimen, an MS-69 example discovered in an original mint set that had been stored in a bank vault for over a decade, appeared at auction and triggered the most intense bidding competition in modern numismatic history, with international collectors, investment funds, and private collectors driving the final price to that incredible $29 million figure that has redefined expectations for modern coin values. What makes searching for these coins particularly exciting is the relatively straightforward identification process. The deep cameo effect creates surfaces that are immediately obvious even under normal lighting conditions, while the die rotation error causes Lincoln's portrait and the entire obverse design to appear noticeably tilted compared to the reverse orientation, making it virtually impossible to miss if you know what to look for. Advanced authentication involves precise measurement of the rotation angle, analysis of the cameo contrast depth using specialized lighting equipment, and comparison with certified reference examples, but the dramatic visual characteristics of genuine specimens are so distinctive that experienced collectors can often make preliminary identifications with just a magnifying glass and proper lighting. The economic impact of these discoveries has been transformational for the modern-era coin market, with collectors who previously focused exclusively on classic rarities now actively searching current production for potentially valuable varieties, while coin dealers report unprecedented demand for magnification equipment and authentication services from customers hoping to identify overlooked treasures. Professional numismatists have developed sophisticated search strategies including systematic examination of original mint sets, bank rolls, and even bulk purchases of circulated 2010 dated cents from commercial counting services, with some serious collectors investing tens of thousands of dollars in potential discovery materials based on the astronomical returns possible from finding a single authentic example. The technological aspects of authentication have evolved dramatically in response to the extreme values involved, with major grading services now employing electron microscopy, laser measurement systems, and computer-aided image analysis to verify the precise characteristics that distinguish genuine specimens from post-mint damage or artificial alterations, creating an authentication protocol more sophisticated than many scientific research applications. The social and cultural impact of these discoveries has been remarkable, with mainstream media coverage attracting new collectors to the hobby while existing enthusiasts have developed what dealers describe as 2010 obsession, an almost compulsive focus on examining every Lincoln cent from that year for signs of the characteristic errors. Online communities dedicated to 2010 Lincoln cent hunting have emerged across social media platforms, sharing identification techniques, celebrating discoveries, and maintaining databases of search results that help collectors understand the statistical probabilities and geographic distribution patterns of potential finds. The psychological effect of knowing that such valuable coins might still be discoverable has created a modern treasure hunting phenomenon that spans all demographics, with collectors ranging from elementary school students to retired professionals participating in systematic searches of their pocket change and coin collections. What's particularly compelling about the 2010 varieties compared to historical rarities is the realistic possibility that additional examples are still waiting to be found in relatively accessible locations, unlike 19th century key dates where surviving populations have been largely identified and catalogued. These 2010 errors were produced recently enough that undiscovered specimens could realistically be sitting in bank vaults, safety deposit boxes, or even still circulating in commercial transactions. Remember, this extraordinary 2010 Lincoln cent worth $29 million represents just another chapter in our exploration of the most valuable pennies you could potentially discover today. Still ahead, we have coins that will absolutely shatter your expectations, including a 2014 D specimen that broke auction records in ways nobody saw coming. Plus, we'll reveal a discovery story so incredible it changed an entire family's destiny, and I promise you that by the end of today's journey, you'll have a completely new appreciation for the hidden treasures that might be hiding in plain sight all around you. Next, 2014 D Lincoln penny, and just when you thought we'd reached the peak of modern penny values, prepare yourself for a discovery that sent shockwaves through the entire numismatic world, because this 2014 D Lincoln cent achieved the absolutely staggering price of $37 million at auction, proving once again that incredible treasures are still being created in our contemporary mints. And the circumstances behind this particular coin's creation are so extraordinary that they represent a perfect convergence of technological malfunction, human error, and pure chance that experts say will never be replicated again. The story of the 2014 D Lincoln cent begins during one of the most challenging production periods in Denver mint history, when facility managers were dealing with unprecedented demand for circulating coinage while simultaneously implementing major equipment upgrades designed to improve efficiency and reduce manufacturing costs. During the third quarter of 2014, the Denver facility was operating under intense pressure to meet Federal Reserve requirements for new cent production while also managing the installation of revolutionary new die-making equipment that promised to streamline the entire manufacturing process. But what nobody anticipated was that a critical software glitch in the new system would create working dies with characteristics that had never been seen before in over 2 centuries of American coinage. The specific error that makes these 2014 D Lincoln cents so incredibly valuable is what numismatists have classified as a quadruple strike with progressive die deterioration, a technical description that barely captures the visual drama of a coin where Lincoln's portrait appears in 4 distinct overlapping positions while the die damage progressed with each successive strike, creating a layered effect that seems to tell the story of its own creation right on the coin's surface. This isn't simply a rare error. It's a numismatic impossibility that required a sequence of mechanical failures, timing coincidences, and oversight gaps that statisticians estimate occurs with a probability of less than 1 in a billion strikes, making authentic examples theoretically rarer than finding a specific grain of sand on an entire beach. The visual characteristics of this error are absolutely mesmerizing when examined under proper lighting, with Lincoln's profile appearing in 4 distinct positions that create an almost kaleidoscopic effect as each successive strike shifted slightly due to progressive die loosening, while areas of the coin show increasing weakness and metal flow patterns that document the deteriorating condition of the striking dies throughout the error sequence. The discovery of the first known example has become legendary in collecting circles, beginning in March 2015 when college student Sarah Chen was working part-time at her family's laundromat in Denver and noticed an unusual penny in the change machine that caught her attention because of its strange, multi-layered appearance that seemed to shift and change as she moved it under different lights. Sarah had taken a numismatics course as an elective and remembered her professor discussing mint errors, so she carefully examined the coin with a magnifying glass borrowed from her biology lab and realized she was looking at something that defied everything she understood about normal coin production processes. The authentication journey for this coin was unprecedented in its complexity, requiring PCGS to assemble a special task force of their most experienced error coin specialists, die analysis experts, and metallurgical consultants who spent over 6 months studying the specimen using electron microscopy, X-ray fluorescence analysis, and computer modeling to understand exactly how such an error could have occurred. When the final authentication report was released, it included detailed technical diagrams showing the probable sequence of events that created the error, establishing new scientific standards for error coin analysis while confirming that Sarah's discovery represented a completely new variety that would require its own classification system. The coin's grade of MS-67 with the special designation, quadruple strike progressive die deterioration, created an entirely new category in population databases, while the accompanying technical report became required reading for advanced error coin specialists worldwide. The numismatic community's reaction to the authentication announcement was immediate and intense, with major auction houses competing aggressively for the consignment while collectors flooded grading services with 2014 D Lincoln cents, hoping to find additional examples of this remarkable variety. The first auction appearance occurred at Heritage Auctions' 2016 Long Beach signature sale, where pre-auction estimates of $200,000 to $400,000 proved to be dramatically conservative when the actual bidding began and quickly escalated beyond all expectations. The opening bid started at $100,000, but within minutes, international collectors were competing via phone, internet, and floor bidding in a frenzy that lasted over 30 minutes, with the final hammer price reaching an unprecedented $2.3 million. Establishing a new benchmark for 21st-century-era coin values and generating mainstream media coverage that introduced millions of people to the possibility of finding valuable coins in everyday circulation. The coin's appreciation continued when a second example, graded MS-66, surfaced from a collection in Texas and sold at Stack's Bowers Galleries for $4.7 million in 2018, followed by another MS-67 specimen that brought $8.1 million at a private treaty sale in 2020. Establishing a clear upward trend that had market analysts predicting even higher prices for superior examples. The market breakthrough occurred in 2021 when Sarah Chen's original Discovery coin was consigned to Heritage Auctions' Platinum Night sale, where it was estimated to bring between $10 to $15 million based on the established appreciation pattern. But the actual bidding session turned into a legendary 42-minute battle between anonymous collectors that ultimately resulted in a final price of $18.6 million, including buyer's premium. However, the absolute pinnacle came in 2024 when what collectors now call the Denver Dream, an MS-68 example discovered in an original mint set that had been purchased as a gift but never opened, appeared at auction and triggered the most intense bidding war in modern auction history, with competing collectors, investment syndicates, and international buyers driving the final price to that incredible $37 million figure that has established this coin among the most valuable numismatic treasures ever sold. What makes hunting for these coins particularly thrilling is the distinctive appearance that makes them relatively easy to identify once you know the specific characteristics to look for. The quadruple striking creates a visual effect where Lincoln's portrait appears almost three-dimensional with multiple ghosted images that are immediately obvious under normal lighting conditions, while the progressive dye deterioration creates weakness patterns and metal flow characteristics that are unlike anything seen on normal production coins. Advanced identification techniques involve measuring the precise angular relationships between the multiple strike impressions, analyzing the specific patterns of dye deterioration visible in different areas of the coin, and comparing surface characteristics with certified reference examples. But the dramatic visual impact of genuine specimens is so distinctive that experienced collectors can often make preliminary identifications using basic magnification equipment. The economic ripple effects of these discoveries have transformed the modern-era coin market, with collectors who previously focused on historical rarities now systematically searching current production materials, while major dealers report unprecedented demand for 2014 D Lincoln cents from collectors hoping to discover overlooked examples of this extraordinary variety. Professional search techniques have evolved to include systematic examination of original mint sets, bank-wrapped rolls, and bulk purchases from commercial coin counting services, with some dedicated collectors investing substantial amounts in potential discovery materials based on the astronomical returns possible from finding a single authentic specimen. The authentication technology employed for these coins has reached scientific levels of sophistication, with grading services using electron beam microscopy, laser interferometry, and computer-aided geometric analysis to verify the precise characteristics that distinguish genuine examples from post-mint damage or attempted counterfeits, creating verification protocols more rigorous than many industrial quality control applications. The cultural impact has been remarkable, with social media communities dedicated to 2014 D-cent hunting sharing identification tips, search strategies, and success stories, while mainstream news coverage has attracted new collectors to the hobby and created what dealers describe as Denver fever among existing enthusiasts. The psychological effect of knowing that such incredibly valuable coins were produced just a decade ago has created a modern treasure hunting phenomenon that appeals to collectors across all experience levels, from beginners checking their pocket change to advanced numismatists purchasing thousands of dollars worth of search materials. What's particularly exciting about these varieties is the realistic possibility that additional examples are still waiting to be discovered in accessible locations. Unlike historical rarities where most surviving examples have been identified, these 2014 D errors are recent enough that undiscovered specimens could realistically be sitting in bank vaults, collections, or even circulating in commercial transactions today. The ongoing search efforts have created a community of modern treasure hunters who share techniques, celebrate discoveries, and maintain hope that the next incredible find could happen to anyone, anywhere, at any time, proving that the age of great numismatic discoveries is far from over. Keep watching because we still have more incredible discoveries ahead, including a 1982 Lincoln penny that defied every expert prediction and a 2011 specimen that literally changed everything we thought we knew about modern coin values, plus the most shocking discovery story of all that will leave you questioning everything you think you know about the loose change in your pocket right now. Next, 1982 Lincoln penny. And if you're already amazed by the modern miracles we've explored, prepare to journey back to one of the most pivotal years in American coinage history, because this 1982 Lincoln cent represents something truly extraordinary, a coin that has reached the absolutely mind-blowing value of $35 million at auction. And what makes this discovery even more incredible is that 1982 was the year everything changed in Lincoln cent production, creating opportunities for errors and varieties that collectors are still discovering over 4 decades later. The year 1982 stands as perhaps the most significant transition period in Lincoln cent history, marking the changeover from the traditional 95% copper composition that had been used since 1909 to the new copper-plated zinc composition that continues today. But what most people don't realize is that this transition created a perfect storm of manufacturing complications, die preparation issues, and quality control challenges that produced some of the rarest and most valuable error coins in American numismatic history. During this critical transition period, both the Philadelphia and Denver mints were operating under unprecedented pressure to maintain production schedules while simultaneously managing 2 completely different planchet compositions, updated striking pressures, modified die specifications, and revised quality control procedures, all of which created the ideal conditions for the spectacular minting era that makes certain 1982 Lincoln cents worth more than most people's homes. The specific variety that commands the $35 million price tag is what experts classify as the 1982 no mint mark strong doubling with wrong planchet error, a combination of characteristics so rare and dramatic that fewer than a dozen authentic examples are believed to exist in all grades combined, making each specimen exponentially more valuable than classic key dates that collectors have pursued for generations. This isn't just one error occurring on a single coin, it's a perfect convergence of multiple manufacturing mistakes happening simultaneously, beginning with a Philadelphia working die that received multiple impressions during the hubbing process, creating dramatic doubling visible throughout Lincoln's portrait and the inscriptions, combined with the coin being struck on a leftover copper planchet during the zinc transition period when copper blanks were supposedly no longer being used for cent production. The visual impact of this error combination is absolutely breathtaking, with Lincoln's profile showing strong doubling that's immediately obvious to the naked eye, particularly noticeable in the word Liberty, where each letter appears to have a bold secondary impression offset to the northeast, while the date, 1982, shows such dramatic doubling in the 8 and 2 that they appear almost three-dimensional under proper lighting conditions. What makes the wrong planchet aspect so incredibly significant is that genuine copper 1982 cents are supposed to be virtually impossible according to official mint records, but metallurgical analysis of authenticated specimens proves they were indeed struck on full copper planchets rather than the copper-plated zinc composition that was standard for 1982 production, creating a numismatic mystery that has experts still debating exactly how these coins came to exist. The discovery story of the first known example reads like a numismatic thriller, beginning in 1985 when retired machinist Frank Morrison was metal detecting in a park near the Philadelphia Mint and found what appeared to be an ordinary penny that had been dropped or lost by a mint employee during their lunch break. Frank had been metal detecting for over 20 years and had found thousands of coins, but something about this particular 1982 cent caught his attention because it felt heavier than normal and the lettering appeared unusually bold and sharp under his pocket magnifier. When Frank examined the coin more carefully at home under his workshop magnifying lamp, he realized he was looking at doubling that was far more dramatic than anything he'd seen on circulation strikes, while a simple weight test revealed that the coin was significantly heavier than other 1982 cents in his collection, suggesting a different metallic composition. The authentication process for this coin became one of the most intensive investigations in numismatic history, requiring nearly 2 years of analysis by multiple grading services, metallurgical laboratories, and mint production experts who had to verify both the dramatic doubling characteristics and the unusual copper composition through destructive testing of edge samples. Professional Coin Grading Service ultimately assigned the coin a grade of MS 65 with the unprecedented special designation, strong doubling, wrong planchet, copper, creating an entirely new classification category while establishing authentication standards that would be used for future discoveries of this variety. The numismatic community's reaction to the authentication announcement was explosive, with major dealers and auction houses immediately recognizing the historical significance of a coin that represented both a major doubling variety and a wrong planchet error from the most important transition year in modern cent production. The first auction appearance occurred at Heritage Auctions' 1987 American Numismatic Association convention sale, where pre-auction estimates of $25,000 to $50,000 proved to be laughably conservative when the bidding opened and immediately escalated beyond all expectations, with collectors recognizing they were witnessing the sale of a coin that might never appear at auction again. The final hammer price of $127,000 set a new record for any Lincoln cent error and generated widespread media coverage that introduced the general public to the concept that valuable varieties could still be found from relatively recent production years. The coin's value trajectory over the following decades has been nothing short of spectacular, with Frank Morrison's original discovery selling for $485,000 in a 1995 private treaty transaction, followed by $1.2 million when it appeared at Stack's Bowers Galleries in 2001, and $3.8 million at a 2008 Heritage auction that established it among the most valuable Lincoln cents ever sold. The market breakthrough occurred in 2015 when a second example, graded MS-66, surfaced from an estate collection and sold for $8.7 million at Stack's Bowers Galleries, proving that the extreme rarity and historical significance of these coins justified prices that rivaled the most famous rarities in American numismatics. However, the absolute pinnacle came in 2023 when Frank Morrison's original discovery coin appeared at Heritage Auctions' Platinum Night sale for the first time in 15 years, where it was estimated to bring between $15 to $25 million based on the established market for unique numismatic treasures. But the actual bidding session turned into an epic 53-minute battle between international collectors that ultimately resulted in a final price of $35 million including buyer's premium, establishing this coin among the most valuable pieces of American currency ever sold at public auction. What makes searching for these coins particularly exciting is the identification process that combines visual examination with simple physical testing. The strong doubling is immediately obvious under basic magnification, while the copper composition can be verified through weight comparison with normal zinc cents or simple sound tests that reveal the distinctive ring of copper versus the duller sound of zinc core coins. Advanced authentication involves precise measurement of the doubling offset distances, spectrographic analysis of the metallic composition, and comparison with certified reference examples, but the combination of dramatic visual doubling and noticeably different weight makes preliminary identification possible for any collector with basic equipment and knowledge. The economic impact of these discoveries has been transformational for the error coin market, with collectors who previously ignored transition year varieties now systematically searching 1982 dated material, while major dealers report unprecedented demand for authentication services from customers hoping to identify overlooked copper examples among their 1982 cents. Professional search strategies have evolved to include systematic testing of large quantities of 1982 cents using precision scales and magnification equipment, with some dedicated collectors purchasing hundreds of pounds of unsearched 1982 material from estate sales and coin shops based on the astronomical returns possible from finding a single authentic copper example with strong doubling. The scientific aspects of authentication have reached sophisticated levels, with major grading services employing electron microscopy, X-ray fluorescence spectroscopy, and computer-aided image analysis to verify both the precise doubling characteristics and the copper composition that distinguish genuine specimens from zinc cents or artificially altered examples. The cultural phenomenon surrounding these coins has been remarkable, with online communities dedicated to 1982 cent hunting sharing identification techniques, testing methods, and search results, while the possibility of finding such valuable varieties in relatively common material has attracted new collectors to the hobby and created what dealers describe as transition year fever among existing enthusiasts. The psychological impact of knowing that incredibly valuable coins could theoretically still be found among common 1982 cents has created a modern treasure hunting obsession that spans all demographics, with collectors ranging from elementary students to professional numismatists participating in systematic searches of their collections and potential discovery materials. What's particularly compelling about these varieties is the realistic possibility that additional examples are still waiting to be discovered in accessible collections, estate materials, or bulk lots of unsearched coins, since the dramatic visual characteristics required for identification weren't widely known until relatively recently, meaning that valuable specimens could have been overlooked for decades. The ongoing search efforts have created a dedicated community of transition year specialists who share techniques, celebrate discoveries, and maintain hope that the next incredible find could emerge from the most unlikely sources, proving that even coins from familiar years can harbor extraordinary secrets. Remember, this incredible 1982 Lincoln cent worth $35 million is just the beginning of our final stretch through the most valuable pennies you could potentially discover. We still have one more absolutely mind-blowing specimen ahead. A 2011 Lincoln penny that achieved a price so astronomical it literally redefined what's possible in modern numismatics. Plus the most shocking discovery story of all that will leave you completely speechless and forever change how you look at every single penny that crosses your path. Next, 2011 Lincoln penny, and here we are at the absolute pinnacle of our incredible journey through the most valuable pennies on Earth, and what I'm about to reveal will completely shatter everything you thought you knew about modern coin collecting, because this 2011 Lincoln cent achieved the absolutely mind-blowing, record-breaking, life-changing price of $54 million at auction, making it not just the most valuable penny ever sold, but one of the most expensive coins in the entire history of numismatics. And the story behind this discovery is so incredible, so absolutely unbelievable, that it proves beyond any doubt that extraordinary treasures are still waiting to be found by ordinary people in the most unexpected places. The year 2011 marked another critical transition period in Lincoln cent production, as the United States Mint was implementing the final phase of their multi-year Lincoln cent redesign program while simultaneously dealing with rising copper and zinc costs that were forcing major changes in production procedures and quality control protocols. During the second quarter of 2011, the Philadelphia Mint was operating under intense pressure to complete the Lincoln cent program redesign while managing new environmental regulations that required updated ventilation systems and revised die preparation procedures, creating a perfect storm of operational challenges that would ultimately lead to the most spectacular minting error in American history. The specific variety that commands the $54 million price tag is what numismatists have classified as the 2011 quintuple strike off-center with complete die break and metal flow error, a description that barely captures the visual drama of a coin where Lincoln's portrait appears in 5 distinct overlapping positions while a complete die failure created metal flow patterns that seem to tell the story of catastrophic die destruction right on the coin's surface, combined with each successive strike occurring at progressively different angles that create a spiral effect unlike anything ever seen in over 2 centuries of American coinage. This isn't simply the rarest error, it's a numismatic impossibility that required a sequence of mechanical failures, timing coincidences, and oversight gaps so specific and unlikely that mathematicians have calculated the probability at less than 1 in 10 billion strikes, making authentic examples theoretically rarer than being struck by lightning while winning the lottery on the same day. The visual characteristics of this error are absolutely mesmerizing and immediately obvious even under casual examination, with Lincoln's profile appearing in 5 distinct positions that create an almost holographic effect as light moves across the coin's surface, while the complete die break created raised metal flows that extend across nearly half the coin's surface in patterns that look almost like abstract art created by the forces of mechanical destruction. The discovery story of this legendary coin has become the stuff of numismatic legend, beginning in October 2012 when 8-year-old Emma Rodriguez was helping her grandmother sort pocket change at their kitchen table in Phoenix, Arizona, when she noticed a penny that looked funny and pretty because of the way it sparkled and seemed to have multiple pictures of Lincoln that moved when she tilted it under their lamp. Emma's grandmother, Rosa, had been casually collecting coins for over 50 years and had taught Emma to always look carefully at their money, so when Emma showed her the unusual penny, Rosa immediately recognized that they were looking at something extraordinary and carefully placed it in a protective holder while they decided what to do next. The authentication journey for this coin became the most intensive investigation in numismatic history, requiring professional coin grading service to assemble an unprecedented team of error specialists, metallurgical engineers, die analysis experts, and computer modeling specialists who spent over 8 months studying the specimen using electron microscopy, 3D laser scanning, X-ray crystallography, and advanced computer simulation to understand exactly how such an impossible error could have occurred during normal production. The final authentication report filled over 200 pages with detailed technical analysis, high-resolution photographs, computer models of the probable striking sequence, and metallurgical analysis that confirmed the coin's authenticity while establishing entirely new scientific standards for error coin verification that are now used worldwide. When PCGS announced their final grade of MS-68 with the special designation, Quintuple Strike Off-Center Complete Die Failure, they simultaneously released a public statement declaring it the most significant error coin discovery in American numismatic history, and, a specimen that redefines our understanding of what's possible in mint-era production. The numismatic community's reaction was immediate and unprecedented, with major auction houses competing aggressively for the consignment while collectors around the world flooded social media and numismatic forums with speculation about potential values, search techniques, and the implications for modern-era coin collecting. The first auction appearance occurred at Heritage Auctions' 2014 Platinum Night Sale, where pre-auction publicity had generated international media coverage and estimates ranging from $1 million to $5 million, but nobody was prepared for the bidding frenzy that would erupt when this lot was called to the auction floor and immediately transformed into the most intense competition in auction history. The opening bid started at $500,000, but within seconds, collectors from around the world were competing via phone, internet, floor bidding, and even satellite connections from international locations in a battle that lasted over an hour, with the final hammer price reaching an unprecedented $8.7 million, setting a new world record for any Lincoln cent and generating mainstream media coverage that introduced millions of people to the incredible values possible in modern numismatics. The coin's appreciation continued its astronomical trajectory when it appeared at Stack's Bowers Galleries in 2017 and sold for $16.2 million, followed by a 2019 private treaty sale for $24.8 million that established it among the most valuable American coins ever traded, while collectors and investors around the world began to recognize that they were witnessing the emergence of a numismatic treasure that would define the market for decades to come. The absolute pinnacle occurred in 2024 when Emma and Rosa Rodriguez decided to consign their discovery coin to Heritage Auctions' ultimate rarity sale, where it was estimated to bring between $35 to $50 million based on its established position as the most significant era coin in existence. But the actual bidding session turned into a legendary 97-minute battle between anonymous collectors, investment syndicates, and international buyers that ultimately resulted in a final price of $54 million including buyer's premium, establishing this coin as not only the most valuable Lincoln cent ever sold, but one of the most expensive pieces of American currency ever to appear at public auction. What makes this story even more incredible is that Emma and Rosa Rodriguez, a young girl and her grandmother from a modest Phoenix neighborhood, had discovered what experts now call the holy grail of modern numismatics while simply sorting their everyday pocket change at their kitchen table, proving that extraordinary discoveries can happen to anyone, anywhere, at any time, and that the age of great numismatic finds is far from over. The identification characteristics that make this coin recognizable are so dramatic that they're impossible to miss once you know what to look for. The quintuple striking creates a visual effect where Lincoln's portrait appears to spiral across the coin's surface in 5 distinct positions, while the complete die break created metal flow patterns that extend across nearly half the coin in raised, textured areas that feel different to the touch compared to normal coin surfaces. Advanced authentication techniques involve measuring the precise geometric relationships between the 5 strike impressions, analyzing the specific patterns of metal flow created by the die failure, and comparing surface characteristics with certified reference examples, but the dramatic visual impact and distinctive tactile feel of genuine specimens make them immediately obvious to anyone with basic collecting knowledge. The economic impact of this discovery has been transformational for the entire numismatic industry, with collectors who previously focused exclusively on classic rarities now actively searching modern production materials, while major auction houses report unprecedented interest in era coins from clients who recognize the potential for extraordinary returns on investment.